Dare to dream, dream, dream. Welcome to the Dare to Dream radio show. I'm your host, Debbi Dachinger. Join me every week as I interview inspiring guests from all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds, all parts of the world, who had a dream and found a way to make that dream come true. Listen to this worldwide award-winning radio show every week and learn to dare to dream and make your dreams come true. Sit back and enjoy, and welcome.
You can be anything, a rock star, beauty queen, fly with a broken wing, baby, if you dare to dream, dare to dream.
Welcome to Dare to Dream Radio. This is Debbi Dachinger, your host, producer for the day, and I'm super happy to be here with you and our conversation. We're going to be going places and spaces we don't usually, but that's awesome because what I love so much in life is that there are no limitations. There actually are places we're told we can't go, that this culture sets up as limitations, and so many of us don't buy into it. It's just not our reality. So I'm going to have an expert on to talk about this. Lauren Polly will be on later. She is a unique voice with an outstanding new book that addresses bipolar and other quote-unquote mental illnesses, and how this is actually a capacity and a gift, not the curse we were once taught to believe. She's someone I am really thrilled with and have gotten to know, and she's an amazing voice at an amazing time. Well, this show is created for you, my listeners, to inspire you to continue to take steps towards your dream and turn those dreams into your reality. I have some information here about leadership. And where are you a leader in your life? How are you stepping up in new ways that indicates you're a leader? And what's possible in how to be a leader? Let's talk a little bit about leadership. Power is not power if you don't embrace it. That feels so powerful. I'm going to say it again. Power, potency, is not potency if you don't embrace it. Otherwise, it's just some kind of energy sort of laying around you, not being utilized. We all have it. It is a gift we all have. How will you use power in your life? First of all, you can have the hard conversations. I've been doing a lot of that lately with amazing results. And it's actually not as hard as we perceive it to be. Have the hard conversations in order to be a leader. The biggest mistake I often see people make is failing to address uncomfortable topics, because too often we avoid saying the things that really need to be said. And the problem with that is twofold. First of all, it wastes a ton of time in a personal or a work environment, and it puts unnecessary stress and strain on everybody involved, because frankly, don't we all know there's an elephant in the room anyway? It's just not being addressed. And if you were to approach the topic right away, this hard conversation topic, well, when you approach it, boom, right off the get-go, then you're not wasting time worrying about it, wondering what the answer is going to be, and thinking about what you're going to say. Whether this conversation involves telling your boss that you want to raise, or telling your employee that he or she is not doing a good job, or maybe telling a colleague that he or she offended you. The difficult conversation often solves the problem on the spot. So the most important thing in having the hard conversation, A, do it, and B, be sure to be respectful on every level. Learn to speak to people the way you want to be spoken to. We're, at some level, all of us sensitive. So address people in a kind, respectful way, and then have that hard conversation. The next is act as though you belong in every room. For all of us who are doing big things out in the world, that means we're continually shifting into new places that we haven't. Maybe it's an interview, or we're writing something, or we're addressing bigger names or bigger leadership people than we have before. Well, you belong. It's true, you belong. I guess this is the updated version of fake it till you make it, because no matter where you're sitting, whether it's the CEO's office or the lowest person in the totem pole's cubicle, behave like you fit in that space. you can appear comfortable, because there's nothing worse than going into a meeting where you're visibly nervous and the other person starts to think, wow, maybe they don't deserve to be here. If your superiors or the people you work for or work for you see that you're hesitant, guess what? They'll start to think it, that maybe you don't understand them. So own that space. That's another way to step into your own potency and power. And speaking of which, for sure, own your power. And not just own your power, but own your mistakes. How awesome a leader is that? Owning your power, owning your mistakes. Leadership is useless if you're not leading. It doesn't come naturally to you to be the person maybe standing in front of the room, standing in front of everyone, heading up the charge. So would you rather be in the corner of the room reading a book? I doubt it if you really want to be a leader. So learn not to fear mistakes or to regret them when something goes wrong. It's okay to step up and say, hey, that wasn't maybe the best choice, or I see the results didn't work out, or I did this, I'm sorry, I apologize, I take responsibility, it won't happen again. So meaningful to us. Takes the charge off of anything. Everybody knows how much integrity you have, and it makes them want to work with you even further. If things get off track, treat the obstacle as a different direction you've been sent in versus a stop sign. Own your power and your mistakes. And finally, realize, honestly, there's no secret recipe. We're most of us making it up as we go along. Everyone always thinks, somebody else knows something I don't. Clearly, that's why they're successful. But let me fill you in on a secret. Nobody knows anything. I'm constantly encountering people who say, I wish I had it as together as you do. Cool. I'm glad you have that perception of me. But the reality is there is nothing special that people in high positions know. We're all working with the same tools. So take a chance, go inside, feel what's right for you, and go for it. And that's leadership. Power is not power if you don't embrace it. Have the hard conversations. Act as if you belong in every room. Own your power and own your mistakes. And realize there's no secret recipe. Trust yourself, take the chance, go for it. Today, as promised, Lauren Polly is here. She is the author of The Other Side of Bipolar, where she shares her own journey to help others find the life they desire without limitations. Lauren is a catalyst for people who are living their life on autopilot. She helps others shift from surviving to thriving through dynamic healing, self-empowerment, and life-changing tools in her cutting-edge classes and one-on-one coaching. Lauren hosts a weekly radio show called Beyond Speech, Limitless Communication, and is a certified Access Consciousness Facilitator, certified Talk to the Entities Facilitator, ASHA certified medical speech language pathologist, and she is a registered yoga instructor. Lauren has already shown thousands of people around the world how to engage boldly with themselves, their body, and the world to create the life they desire. You can follow her on Twitter at LPollyLifeCoach and on Facebook at Lauren Polly Coaching. Lauren, welcome to Dare to Dream. It is so great to have you here.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here, Debbie. Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to this conversation on this powerfully titled book, The Other Side of Bipolar. So many questions, so let me see if I can quiet my mind. I'm really excited to delve. So my sense is everybody today knows about mental illness, or what they've been taught mental illness is. I'd like you, though, to break it down. What is it really? What isn't mental illness?
Yeah, I think if you look at it from this reality's perspective or the medical system's perspective, mental illness in general is this mental angst where you're not able to really function in this world. So whether it's clinical depression, bipolar, which was my diagnosis growing up, schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress disorder, social anxiety is a huge one that's being diagnosed these days. From the medical perspective, it's a wrongness and something that's a limitation in your ability to function in your life and in your living. I kind of lived with that perspective for years and years and years after I was diagnosed when I was 14 with bipolar. And I was lucky to meet different healers, holistic psychiatrists, and really creators of different perspectives along my 16-plus year journey since that time that have changed the total perspective I've had of what mental illness is. Instead of it actually being a limitation, the ability to be perceptible and have this depth of perception of the world and awareness that goes beyond what other people are aware of is really a strength that can be harnessed and utilized not just to move beyond the mental illness, but to really create a life that you absolutely love.
In your book, you write this sentence, "I don't want to be around people, they are too loud." I want you to explain this. Your experience of being or feeling different because of your diagnosis and even pre-diagnosis, what was that like for you in this world?
Well, and for me, the world has always felt very loud. I love the word cacophony, which a lot of people don't realize. That word is kind of a discordant sounds, really loud, like this huge orchestra that is not playing to any given beat and nothing really is in tune or even harmonious with each other. And so for me, walking around with my depth of perception and my awareness being younger, I kind of felt like a ping pong, like I was ping-ponging off of other people's worlds. I was constantly getting triggered by how other people saw me. If they had a judgment of me, I would shut down. I was just hyper-aware and very sensitive to what was going on in my environment, so much so that I kind of lost myself in the midst of all that. And I think that's the hard thing with this loud awareness of the world is sometimes we have so much of that and it is so dense, heavy, and vibratory in our bodies and in our mind that we have a hard time finding our own voice and our own footing to really be able to catapult ourselves into creation.
So then would you say, when you talk about this awareness and this incredible perception of what's happening at all times, does that mean that you have a sensitivity that is beyond what most people have?
Absolutely. And I would extend the conversation for all the listeners to start looking at where they may have this in of themselves. Those who have been diagnosed with a mental illness, it may be a higher degree of sensitivity and or the coping mechanisms just weren't there, or maybe you just opened your mouth to someone and you were slapped with a label, like it was in my case. But a lot of us have this deeper awareness and perception of the world and of the people in our lives. So it is not something that I would say is a total unique capacity. I believe we all have this, but we're all different in the way that we perceive it and our ability to really harness it and utilize it.
I'm so curious about the component of your body, our bodies. Mm-hmm. It being bipolar, do you feel your body? What is this experience for you about being inside of one or not?
Mm. Oh, goodness. I think that was kind of the big thing. And if you read my book, it's fascinating because I wrote it in a very sensorial way, really to invite you into the experience, into my world, and to find where it may lie in some sort of commonality with yours so you can walk with me. And so much of that was this awareness of the body's ability to communicate with us, and our body is a sensate organ. So how does it communicate, and how can you listen? You listen to the sensations. For me, it wasn't just the mental angst, those kind of turbulent emotions. It was really big body signs, turnover in my belly. My body would start shaking. I would feel nauseous all of a sudden. There was a loud mind component, but there was also a very loud body component. And for me, just the intensity, and I think that really speaks to the manic side of what the traditional viewpoint is with bipolar, having that intensity of being, which actually is a capacity. Again, if you can start looking at what it is you're aware of, open up the lines of communication with your body and being able to step more into kind of a joy of your awareness and not a fight against it. And I think that was most of my angst as I was fighting against my awareness, which so much of us do. We kind of battle ourselves or hit our head against a wall, where if we were able just to sink into it and allow it to be part of our world, there's a totally different, more spacious, easeful possibility there with our body and our mind.
Amazing. To your point, when you talk about how you chose to write the book to invite the reader into your experience, there's a whole section in your book where you describe the experience as though it's a snake that keeps coming in and out of your experience, and it's really quite mind-blowing to read and visualize what that's like to have something, because for me a snake, it's dangerous, but it's a little sensual, but and it can weave in and out, it could choke you if it needed to, it has a forked tongue, all these things going on, and you're describing what it's like to be you and all that's happening. So quite that, the reader does get a really direct experience. You also are a certified access consciousness facilitator of a couple of things. So as we talk, I want to invite you and your gifts in this realm, anything that you feel can be, should be facilitated by you in this conversation where we can benefit. So let's open this up. There are listeners who know access consciousness. There are listeners who this may be new to. Let's invite everyone in. Can you describe a little bit the clearing statement and what it does?
So the clearing statement is right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. There's a beautiful description up online if you're curious for more information about what that short speak means and what it does. If you go to theclearingstatement.com, you'll see a video from Dr. Dane here, who's one of the founders of Access Consciousness, describing it. Absolutely brilliant if you're looking for a deeper conversation with that. In the meantime, just having the awareness that it is an energetic change agent. This is something that we utilize, and it kind of fries your mind, which is a good thing. It kind of makes you feel a little spacey, like, I'm not quite sure what's going on. It sounds like gibberish. What it does is it changes the energy so dynamically, and the universe, its first building block is energy. So the way to really hit these problems, quote unquote, like, today speaking about mental illness, is to start to look at the awareness of the energy underlying it. And when you have that perspective, you actually start to see what's true and not what is an invention or something that was put on you from either society, from a doctor, from someone else's perspective. The clearing statement works by us talking, asking a question, bringing up energy, either a judgment, kind of, again, those sensorial things. Your belly may flip. You might go, I'm not sure I want to change that. The clearing statement comes like a magic wand and actually starts to dissipate, release, destroy, and uncreate all of the energy that is stuck and locked up that has you unable to make a change in that area. It is by far the most potent tool I have found thus far to really create dynamic change.
Cool. So statistics, we can start there. This will bring up some energy. Bipolar disorder affects 5.7 million adult Americans, or about 2.6% of the U.S. population. Equal number of men and women develop bipolar illness. It's found in all ages, races, ethnic groups, and social classes. And more than 2/3 of people with bipolar disorder have at least one close relative with the illness or with unipolar major depression, indicating that the disease has an inherited component. I'll let you take over.
Wow. Big statistics. And I would say anywhere and everywhere that you have looped yourself in to the conglomeration of beings that identify themselves as mentally ill, bipolar, unipolar, anxious, depressed, or generally messed up and wrong, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that utterly?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds, and anything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, or receive the information that may be hidden in what you've been calling crazy. Will you please destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds, and anything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, or receive the capacities, the gifts, and the strengths that are hidden within your quote-unquote crazy or diagnosis. Will you destroy and uncreate all that as well?
Yes.
Utterly, yes. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's fascinating when you start talking about the statistics because these days more and more people are getting diagnosed. They're getting diagnosed younger. There's more of a societal reliance on medication-only treatment and not really looking at the holistic or the broader perspective, let alone the conversation of the energetic component to what's actually truly going on. And when you are aware, like I had spoken about at the beginning of the show, how aware are you of people in your space, either a relative, a family member, someone you're not even really connected to this lifetime, but maybe looped into their world where your emotional upheaval, the ups and the downs, the angst, and almost these weird reaction patterns that we have aren't actually yours. They're just your awareness of how other people are functioning. And anywhere and everywhere you found it easier to loop into their world and their reality and act as them and not find your own footing, your own unique voice, and yourself, your being in its true state, will you just drain and create all that?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's a big one. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. Are you getting lost in your awareness? And that's my question for all of you who may be struggling, diagnosed or not, or if you're just aware of a greater life that's possible that you haven't yet brought to fruition. Is there a space or a place where you're losing yourself in other people's worlds or in this reality at large? Yeah. And what would it take for you to pull yourself out of every reality that you're in, every other world that you're in, and energetically you can just kind of pull yourself out of all those places and spaces that are not you, and actually pull yourself together in entirety more. Thank you. That's different.
Wow. Hello.
Hello.
Don't know if y'all are feeling puddled like I am or resonating with these words you're hearing. You can comment at any time. Let us know how you're loving this. Just as we're going to the break, another statistic, bipolar disorder results in 9.2 years reduction in expected lifespan, with as many as 1 in 5 patients with bipolar disorder who they end their life with suicide. It makes me very sad. So here's the deal. So that this is no longer an option to anyone with bipolar disorder, with depression, with anxiety, with anything else on this planet who actually came here to be great good and as a point of view we all need to hear and experience. We're going to keep going. Stay with us. We'll be back with more on Dare to Dream Radio. If you want to have inspiring videos, upcoming events, at DebbiDachinger.com, and also find me, connect with me there on Facebook at Dare to Dream Radio and TV. We'll be right back.
Rejuvenate Medical Spa is your premier results-driven medical spa, voted the #1 center for beauty and restoration. For men and women at RejuvenateMedical.com. Rejuvenate Medical Spa has proudly served as skin and laser specialists over 10 years, offering the best in non-invasive cosmetic treatments and custom-made care for you. For hair, body, and skin, call Rejuvenate Medical Spa with your questions or schedule a free consultation at RejuvenateMedical.com.
Tell the world about your product or business. Advertise on Dare to Dream Radio. The award-winning program is syndicated on over 60 stations, has a big following, and large listenership. If you're ready to expand your reach, become a sponsor or advertiser on Dare to Dream Radio. Best rates? Great results. Email at ads@DebbiDachinger.com. That's ads@DebbiDachinger.com.
What if the world doesn't function the way we've been told? What if we truly can bend the laws of physical reality? What if we can end limitation? What if weird were the coolest thing you could be? And what if it's time for a totally different reality? Are you ready to create it? Are you ready to dream as big as you dare? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything in my life changed for me. This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Gandhi, Galileo, and Aristotle all knew to be true. It's not about the answer. It's about being the question. Always. It's about truly being you, whatever that looks like, and changing this world. Is now the time? Start by signing up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. That's beingyouclass.com. What if you are the gift and the change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
MyBestsellerBook.com helps you self-publish, and you keep all the royalties. Even if your book is already published, MyBestseller.com will help you become a best-selling author. Your book will be promoted to a large global following. Enjoy a press release and book review. Make your next book launch bigger and better. MyBestsellerBook.com has long-term client credibility and 100% success in turning books into bestsellers. MyBestsellerBook.com.
Tell the world about your product or business. Advertise on Dare to Dream Radio. The award-winning program is syndicated on over 60 stations, has a big following, and large listenership. If you're ready to expand your reach, become a sponsor or advertiser on Dare to Dream Radio. Best rates, great results. Email ads@DebbiDachinger.com. That's ads@DebbiDachinger.com.
Listen, do you hear that? It's the sound of your life running smoothly. A big part of harmony has to do with your thoughts. Are your issues ruining your life? Debbi Dachinger is a certified bars facilitator who uses energy clearings on clients for healing, creativity, aging, sleep, money, and more. In a bars session, you will begin clearing away issues and allow harmony and change. Book your bars session at www.DebbiDachinger.com.
Debbi Dachinger's Radio Interview Mastery Program is a unique branded system that works. MediaMasteryRadio.com puts you on a fast track to grow your business and easily book interviews. Learn how at MediaMasteryRadio.com. Debbi is fiercely committed to guiding entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, healers, and business people. Learn how to leverage your radio appearances to grow your business and increase your visibility at MediaMasteryRadio.com.
I'm interviewing Lauren Polly at laurenpolly.com. This is Debbi Dachinger on Dare to Dream. Okay, Miss Lauren. The first thing I want to talk about is being social. This is one of your areas of expertise, being social and uncovering the graceful you. I love the sound of that. How can we do that? What do you suggest?
Oh, it's a beautiful conversation of, again, finding yourself and being willing to be you in interactions. So this is something that I have struggled with in my younger years, more of that social anxiety component, and again, getting lost in other people's worlds. So much of what we're aware of when we do have that nervous belly, or you go to speak to someone and you stutter a little bit, or you just don't really have that graceful interaction style, is what you're aware of. Are you aware of something in the other person's world? Are you gaining access to the deeper levels that they're not really showing you? So it gets a little bit confusing. Am I talking to what is being said and how they're presenting themselves? Or am I actually going to interact with them on that deeper perceptible level that I have? It's all a matter of what you're aware of and what could you be that's easeful in your interactions. For me, the people who have this beautiful social ease, they leave people feeling lighter just by being in their presence. There is an ease to being with them. There's a relaxed space that they invite. And there's really that beautiful sense of being seen by them. And to me, I know that's a huge gift that I like to kind of push the edge into, but also some of the people that I've been lucky enough to meet in my life where you just have that sense of they see me. They don't really see the crap that I'm putting out in front, like that's me. They see a deeper sense, and they're willing to actually be an allowance of whatever I'm choosing in the moment. And when you make people feel good, that's an invitation. That's what they actually remember. Like, I love that saying, it's not what you say, but it's how you make people feel that makes the difference. And I think that's so true. We beat ourselves up because we speak, or we stutter a bit, or we're not as eloquent with our expression. That's wonderful and something, maybe a growing edge to play with, but deeper than that, what energetic space do you be that is an invitation and allows that person to feel included, seen, and really that they're of value to whatever it is you're creating in the moment?
That's an awesome question. You know, I grew up with a grandfather who was exactly what you're saying. I felt incredibly seen, loved, cared for, listened. He was always curious, and physically I had eye contact, and he would hold my hand, and his presence really informed a lot of my life and, frankly, how I usually listen to others. But I have also had the experience socially and otherwise where there's occasionally an awkwardness with somebody, and then I've turned it against myself and thought, like, what's going on here? And I'm just now, this past year, coming into more awareness of, oh, what if that wasn't about me? What if I was perceiving something there? So in a situation like that where we're interacting with somebody and there actually isn't a gracefulness happening, what can we do, or what can we clear so that that awkwardness is gone on whomever's side?
Yeah, I would definitely say keep your eye out for the big judgment. And that could be judgment on your part, making yourself wrong for the awkwardness, or judgment that you're aware of in their world that's making them feel awkward too. And it's insidious. Someone starts to feel a little bit awkward. They go into self-judgment about how they're expressing themselves or presenting themselves. You pick up on that, and either you judge them or you start judging yourself in tandem to that. So it's this insidious seed that once it's present in an interaction really starts to kind of cloud and filter everything. So all of the filters of judgment that you have on yourself in all of your interactions, all of your past interactions that may be coloring what you think you are capable of or where you may stand socially, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds, and all of the judgments that you are aware of, and all of the kind of judgmentometers, where it's kind of like a ding, 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 like, are you aware of judgment and your voice goes? Are you aware of someone's judgment and you start to stutter? Are you aware of judgments and your brain fuzzes out and you can't remember what to say? What is your sign or symptom that there's a judgment present? And anything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, or receive what that is, and have more ease. So when you see it, you sense it, it's there, you go, oh, that's what that is, moving beyond it. Anything and everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, this is the interesting thing about energetic awareness. Energy is ever moving, it's ever changing, and it's ever present. Whether we're willing to be present with it or not is a totally different conversation, one I would invite you into more with yourself. And then also looking at the energetic exchange that's going on when you interact with someone. Do you make eye contact with someone and immediately have a massive download of everything that's going on in their world? And does that then have you go into deer in the headlights, or again, those judgmentometers where you start to stutter or lose your voice or not be able to express yourself? The key and the trick out of that is really, what am I aware of here? Acknowledging that you are aware usually sets you free. How much more space can I be with this awareness? And not judging your awareness or any kind of judgment awareness that you have as something that needs to be relevant or spoken to. Awareness is that whisper breeze. It's an energy. The energy keeps moving. Have the information if it's something that's required, but ask yourself, is this really relevant in my interaction with this person? 9 times out of 10, I find it's not actually relevant. Just asking that question lets it change and you can move forward with your interaction.
Spectacular. Wow. Thank you. What a concise and really fleshed out answer. I so appreciate that. And I'm resonating. I'm feeling the ripples of everything you've been saying and energetically doing. Yeah. And I hope this is helpful for a lot of people out there for business work.
Well, it's interesting. I think we feel like we go into like the kind of crazy town mentality or mental or emotional angst a lot when it is this kind of weird, awkward interaction. And interaction not just with other people, like in a social interaction that we're speaking to now, but the way you actually interact and engage with your body or with other people in a relationship way or the world and your place in it. It's fascinating. We're constantly, you're like this molecule or like this combination of molecules interacting with all these other molecules all at the same time. Your points of view about how you interact with that start to color and filter out what you create. If you could gain more clarity on what that is and push yourself to grow in the direction of lightness and possibilities, what would change in your ability to interact on all of those levels?
Huge. Exponential,
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You know, you're talking about bodies, and I love the fact that this is one of your specialties, coming from where you came from and all your experiences. And folks, go get the book. You'll understand it's beautifully written. I mean, this is a real writer, so you'll be just moved into the book and the experience, a page-turner. And you also, Lauren, teach happy body workshops. You have sessions, you have products. I find that intriguing. So let's shift a little bit there, how you found your way to be happy with your body and how we might find how to have a happy body.
Yeah, and that was a long path for myself. And it was interesting. I grew up being a dancer. So I started dancing when I was 3 years old. And that was my love, my self-expression, and also like the way that I not only explored the world through my body, but I kind of understood it that way as well. When I was diagnosed with bipolar and then put on all those heavy medications, this war with my body broke out. I had horrible, horrible side effects. And it kind of created this massive separation where I felt like I was floating above my body. I couldn't quite get in, and I couldn't perceive things in the same way. So that sensorial communication that's possible between you and your body, that was really numbed out for me, which this is kind of like mourning this beautiful relationship that I had already loved as one of my primary ways of engaging with the world that had a massive change with the diagnosis and the medication. What had changed in my journey and what the book follows is me actually coming home to my body. So reduction in medication with different doctors and then really changing a lot of my points of view and unwinding where I had bought into other people's points of view about bodies and what they are and how they should be engaged with and what they should be fed and how they should feel. All of that was such a falsehood to what I knew was possible with my body. And the beautiful thing is we all have a different perceptibility and awareness of how to engage your being with your body. And the sweet spot, that happy body, really comes out when you're in constant question, constant curiosity, and childlike playing with your physical form. Hey, body, what would you like today? Moving more into those questions so that you and your body become teammates and really co-creators on a conscious level is a game changer. And when you have a happy body and you're listening to it and you're talking to it, that is a natural extension into a happy you. And that's the beautiful thing, is the two of you working together when you're feeling good in your own skin, you're confident, you know yourself, you're engaging, again, with those molecules in a really conscious and present way, things start to shift dynamically.
Well, you're listening to Dare to Dream Radio. You can join me on Twitter at Debbi Dachinger. Stay right there. When we come back, we'll be speaking to Lauren about excerpts from her book, The Other Side of Bipolar.
From the moment you enter Rejuvenate Medical Spa, it is clear that all of our products and services are designed to maximize your physical image from head to toe with the miracles of today's contemporary aesthetic procedures. RejuvenateMedical.com can enhance your best features and correct imperfections. Call Rejuvenate Medical Spa with questions or to schedule a free consultation and be on your way to a more beautiful, more confident you today. View our online specials now at RejuvenateMedical.com.
Be laser focused on ideal clients. Advertise on Dare to Dream Radio. Great rates at ads@DebbiDachinger.com. Create awareness of your valuable content. Sponsor the Dare to Dream radio show at ads@DebbiDachinger.com. Advertising amplifies everything you're doing towards success. Increase your business. Write to ads@DebbiDachinger.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
Do you have a published book that never reached its bestseller potential? Are you working on a book or ebook you hope to publish soon? Do you have a book locked inside, waiting to release your message to the world? Go to mybestsellerbook.com. My Bestseller Book will launch your book to a guaranteed bestseller status. Learn more at mybestsellerbook.com.
Be laser focused on ideal clients. Advertise on Dare to Dream Radio. Great rates at ads@DebbiDachinger.com. Create awareness of your valuable content. Sponsor the Dare to Dream radio show at ads@DebbiDachinger.com. Advertising amplifies everything you're doing towards success. Increase your business. Write to ads@DebbiDachinger.com.
Are you ready to work with a leader whose clients get results? Debbi Dachinger believes you were born with a unique gift. She leads exceptional teleseminar classes and consults leaders and executives to go beyond obstacles and limits. Clients worldwide receive accelerated results and are catapulted into spectacular successes. For an appointment, go to www.DebbiDachinger.com.
MediaMasteryRadio.com. Learn how to get booked on radio, be paid in money, time, and sales quickly while helping others through your media visibility. At MediaMasteryRadio.com, learn how to get on radio and be interviewed. Debbi Dachinger is a success and media expert who is a proven professional. Go to MediaMasteryRadio.com. Stop struggling to acquire clients. Learn to achieve instant visibility to the masses. Book radio interviews for a profitable business. Learn to communicate what you do and get results at MediaMasteryRadio.com.
Take a breath. Where are you coming from? Let it be all right. To be all right.
Debbi Dachinger here. An excerpt from Lauren Polly's book entitled The Other Side of Bipolar. And in this particular chapter, Lauren is being tested by the doctor, and her family comes in for some questions and results. I'm going to read an excerpt from the book, a very powerful passage, and here it goes. I see a tunnel open up before us, and I follow his lead. He asked me some more questions. Do you have trouble sleeping? Where are we going? Yes. Do you have uncontrollable energy? We continue to move down the tunnel. Yes. Do you get really happy sometimes? Duh, of course. Yes. Do you feel really happy and then get sad? Have you been listening to anything I have said? Yes. Do you swing from one to the other? Deeper we go down the tunnel. I'm being pulled to follow. Yes. I don't feel like I am answering as me. His desire to go down this tunnel pulls at me. I'm curious as to where we will go, so I keep agreeing with him, saying no at this point doesn't seem right. Maybe there is something at the end of the tunnel that will help me. The doctor makes some notes on his clipboard and then looks up at my parents. Oh, good. He's figured it out. Now we'll know. Now they can fix me. She has bipolar. With that one word, my parents come undone. I can feel the world's crumbling. It's like 1,000 bees escape and are buzzing around us all. What does this mean? My parents don't seem relieved at this answer. My curiosity about the tunnel seems to have gotten me into trouble. Something is very wrong. Powerful, Lauren. Where did you learn to write like this?
Oh, that is an innate gift. I am a firm believer in creations being a living, breathing entity unto themselves. And when we are potently at our best and creating things that will speak to what the world can receive and actually move forward into greater possibility, that creation will come knocking to you and flow through you very unimpeded. And that was how this entire book was. Sitting down, my fingers just kind of flew. And it was interesting walking back through these experiences when I was younger, pulling up the memories, kind of revisiting some really gnarly moments that I haven't wanted to look at in a long time. It was such a gift to be able to go back into the story and really undo it for myself and invite the reader and anyone who would be receiving this book to undo it for themselves as well. And also to really uncover the capacities that lie within it. Being able to listen to a doctor and hear those tugs and kind of read his mind, that's actually capacities me and my curiosity at 14 and really just wanting to be fixed led me down the rabbit hole. That's the next chapter, kind of like what happened once I got the diagnosis. But again, through the lens of something's wrong, you can look at that and go, wow, she doesn't know herself. She's following the doctor's lead. Looking at it through the eyes of a capacity, you have access to a great deal of information there. And that's really when you can keep your footing amidst your awareness. That's where you can really start to co-create with it to create greater and greater. And that's really how the book has felt, utilizing my awareness, my past experience, and the way the story has actually played itself out through my body, through my being, and through my world for the last, 22 years at this point. Yeah.
In your L Poly Coaching Twitter feed, Lauren, you write about #mental illness, sensitivity, and sanity interview on radio, which featured singer-songwriter Judy Collins. Mm-hmm. Are there celebrities like Judy Collins who have suffered from being or not being diagnosed?
Oh, massively. And it's fascinating if you actually look at the recent research. There are a lot of people who have signs and symptoms of mental illness who never get diagnosed, never get medicated, and somehow find the strength or the ability just to move forward. People who have read my book thus far, they're like, oh my goodness, if I had just spoken up, I probably would have been slapped with a label because I experienced exactly what you did. I just wasn't able to put it in words the way that you did to the depth that you did. And I think this is indicative of the world that we live in. There are ups, there are downs, there are interesting things occurring in the world, and when you're aware, you pick up on all that stuff. There's also this creative capacity that we have, which involves a lot of energy, a lot of energetic capacities. And if you're not utilizing those in a generative way, they can very easily be turned down a degenerative path and into destructive behaviors. And that's really what I see with a lot of these creators and innovators out there. They have a lot of creative potential, a lot of sensitivities to write those songs, write those books, act out the play. And again, those bigger personalities. The question is, where does that line come between creative capacity and where you tip into madness and go down a degenerative path?
Huge. Everything you're saying is already out there. amazing you're talking about creativity, the books, what's inside of people, and the choice, and how it's utilized for great good and expression, or if it's turned against oneself, how they go down that really unfortunate path. So I couldn't help myself, of course, but look this up. And just so people have a perspective, let me tell you some of those you know very well. Bipolar disorder, Alvin Ailey, Axl Rose, Ben Stiller, Brian Wilson, Britney Spears, Burgess Meredith, Carrie Fisher, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Francis Ford Coppola, Isaac Newton, J.P. Morgan, Jane Pauley. And then people who have had severe panic disorder, Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, depression and compulsive hoarding, Delta Burke, clinical depression, Emma Thompson, Eric Clapton, Ernest Hemingway, Eugene O'Neill. I have a list so big, if you want to see it, I will send it to you because it blew my mind. Yeah. This is really important to note the brilliance that these people be who have this. Ozzy Osbourne, bipolar, Rosemary Clooney, Sinead O'Connor. You know, think about what they're doing. When Winona Ryder, Winston Churchill, they are giving us, when they allow us to come in, the most amazing gifts of music, dance, invention, and so forth. So perhaps what Lauren is talking about with capacity is so, that there is really so much going on that, directed in a positive way, can unfold to a greater good for themselves and for all of us. What do you have to say?
Well, I think that is, for me, the greatest gift that lies amongst all of this. Through all the struggles that I've been through, being able to broaden my perspective and look at, like, how do I actually utilize this? Now, this is something when you're diagnosed with a mental illness, you really feel the opposite. Like, you're of no use, you're taking up space, you have nothing to offer, you can't even put one foot in front of the other. So those of you who are struggling right now in the muck of it, I get it, I was there too. Broadening your perspective from there, though, what if what is right now isn't what it seems? What if that's actually a massive capacity you have to be able to bring about greater change? It is not the people who play the same game as everyone else that makes the great art or brings about world change or a different space of being on the planet. It's the people who look at the world differently, are willing to be that difference, and step into the creative capacities and potencies that they have. And that, to me, is like a bigger conversation of, if people came out of the judgment of themselves and let go of the stigma and were self-accountable for how they utilize their energy, going towards generation and not degeneration, what could we create on this world?
What could we create, indeed? So how can you step into who you're here, what your capacities are? As Lauren suggested, let go of all that judgment of self. What if there is no norm? What if we create it every moment? And what if the world is waiting for each of us to step into the gift we already are? We're going to be right back. And when we come back, we're going to find out what Lauren Polly next dares to dream. This is going to be a very brief break. Stay with us.
Radio sells with immediacy. Radio sells everywhere. Radio is the cost-effective medium. Go to ADS at DebbiDachinger.com. Reach is nice, but frequency is better. You're always on the front page with Dare to Dream Radio. It's an award-winning program syndicated on over 60 radio stations. Advertise and sponsor the Dare to Dream Radio show for optimal advertising results. Email ads at DebbiDachinger.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question. and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
Radio sells with immediacy. Radio sells everywhere. Radio is the cost-effective medium. Go to ads@DebbiDachinger.com. Reach is nice, but frequency is better. You're always on the front page with Dare to Dream Radio. It's an award-winning program syndicated on over 60 stations. Advertise and sponsor the Dare to Dream radio show for optimal advertising results. Email ads@DebbiDachinger.com.
Talk radio is the most effective way to promote a book, business, product, or personal story. Done correctly, radio interviews will open doors. MediaMasteryRadio.com offers training and media strategy. At MediaMasteryRadio.com, learn to message yourself. Get results when you are interviewed, such as sales, followers, speaking gigs, and new customers. Programs, products, workshops, and private sessions at MediaMasteryRadio.com.
What is forgiveness like in your life? Is there someone right now that you need to forgive? Project Forgive is changing all that, teaching you how to skillfully forgive and finally get that freedom. Go to www.projectforgive.com. It's time you freed yourself and freed your dream. You're listening to Dare to Dream.
Would you like to be a part of creating a sustainable future on planet Earth? The El Lugar Foundation, created by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Heer, is a non-for-profit organization providing alternative ways of working with and preserving land for a sustainable future. To donate and learn more, go to crowdrise.com/change the course of our. What kind of earth would you like to see passed on to the next generation and beyond? crowdrise.com/change the course of our.
Life is good and all is well, yes? Life is good and all is well, yes?
I'm interviewing author Lauren Polly, who is a life coach for people who feel challenged by life. She specializes in dynamic healing, self-empowerment, and life-changing tools. Lauren, this is Dare to Dream. What do you next dare to dream? What are your future dreams and targets?
Oh, goodness. There's so many, and they're so spacious, it's hard to put words to. Right now, I'm just really enjoying the ride of the book and seeing what that can unfold. And I think my dream just for the planet and all of us who inhabit it is to have a sense of space and ease and of possibilities in every moment. And I've been so fortunate to work alongside amazing healers and creators and innovators who are kind of leading the charge, so to speak, into the realms of possibility. And what those specific creations are, those next dreams haven't fully formed yet, but I know whatever it is, it's moving more in line with that. I mean, imagine a planet where no one was judging themselves. Everyone was self-accountable and creating what they were capable of, and there was just this ease and enjoyment and pleasure of being alive, being embodied, and being here in the moment.
Well, we're here at the end, so I'm going to ask you this lightning round quickly. If you could go back and say anything to your 16-year-old self now, what would that be?
I would tell her that she's not alone. There is a universe that has her back and is there to support her, and to keep her eyes wide open, that things are not what they seem, and not to buy it as so.
And what's the most important thing you've learned this year, Lauren?
Oh, to trust myself. It has been a growing edge. This book has been a huge project. I mean, time-wise, financial-wise, hiring people. It's been a very eye-opening business experience. And to trust myself that I have what it takes to go where I'm going, that's been a life-changing lesson and one that I'm going to carry forth from here on out.
Thank you, Lauren Polly, for inspiring us. Thank you so much for coming on Dare to Dream.
Oh, it's been wonderful, Debbie. Thank you so much for having me.
You can find her at laurenpolly.com. I end today's show with this quote from Chandogya Upanishad. In the temple of your own body, within the heart, is a lotus flower. Within the lotus is an illuminated jewel space. Find who dwells in this precious space within your heart. Know that person. Love that being. That is you. You can subscribe to my YouTube videos at youtube.com/Deb on the radio. If you are ready to do some big things out in the world, like making your book into a bestseller, go to mybestsellerbook.com. And if you're ready to message yourself correctly out into the world, articulate who you are, go to MediaMasteryRadio.com. Thank you for joining me today and Lauren on Dare to Dream. Remember, the secret is having the courage to begin in the first place.
To contact the award-winning syndicated Dare to Dream radio show, go to DebbiDachinger.com. Keep your excellent feedback and comments coming. Your host, Debbi Dachinger, is an expert at goal achievement, a media personality, an international best-selling author, and a keynote speaker. Debbi leads high-quality teleseminars on how to achieve goals, how to be a self-published best-selling author, and how to get booked on radio. All classes are at DebbiDachinger.com. Debbi's best-selling books are Dare to Dream, This Life Counts, sold on Amazon, and her second book, Wisdom to Success, The Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, sold online at all bookstores. Tune in again to hear the next inspiring interview guest who has turned their vision into a successful reality. Want more support in making your dreams come true? Go to DebbiDachinger.com. That's www.DebbiDachinger.com. You'll see videos, MP3s, archived interviews, and amazing products sharing the secret steps to making your dreams come true. Remember to dream big with every expectation that your dream will become real. Dreams are free, so free your dreams. What do you dare to dream?
Here I'm standing now, waiting for my time to be all that I can be. It's so easy to forget.